Hello, friends. Thank you for coming back to see me. Today, I want to share a little bit of information about the fibromyalgia and how I live with it. I started to share a little bit on my live stream. The only problem is, of course, it was pretty bad. You couldn't really hear me. I was stuttering and my internet was bad. So today I'm going to talk a little bit more in detail about fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is a chronic, widespread pain in all four quadrants of the body for at least 3 months. That's upper and lower body and left and right side. The symptoms can include non-restorative sleep and other sleep disorders, including insomnia, extreme severe fatigue or exhaustion, muscle aches and stiffness that lasts hours or many days, pain that can feel like it's in the bones, joint pain, leg cramps or restless legs, headaches, concentration and memory problems, basically brain fog, or they also call fibro fog. Some days it's very severe, and sometimes it's not too bad. It can come and go, and it can be in different areas. Some days it's more in my neck, or some days it's more in my back. Some days it's more in my arms or legs, and my shoulders, and up in here. It's only been in the last few years that they have done research that shows some chemical changes in the brain. They now think that the brain and spinal cord process pain incorrectly, causing the patient to feel pain much more intensely. Sometime in the 1990s, a bunch of rheumatologists got together and they gave it a name, fibromyalgia. At that time, they also came up with a test called 18-point tender point test of the body, and it was used to diagnose people with these symptoms. If the patient felt bad pain when they applied pressure, then they might determine it was fibromyalgia. If they only felt pressure, it was probably not fibromyalgia. The tests were not very reliable because the amount of pressure applied could vary. You could put light pressure or very deep pressure, and so they really could not rely on those results. Then they came up with a sensitivity severity chart and widespread pain index. So they don't rely on the 18-point tender point test so much anymore. Only in the past few years, after so many studies and research, are doctors finally acknowledging that fibromyalgia is a real disease. Up until recently, they made people feel like it was all in their head, that it was all imagined, psychosomatic. They still have no clue what causes this disease. Perhaps environment and genetics, or a little bit of both. And so they really have no clue what causes it. Some of the things that can trigger this disease are stress, injuries, or trauma of some sort. If a person has another injury, such as an injury, like a bone gets hurt or cut or something, it can cause not just pain at the injury site, but also can cause pain in other areas of the body due to the central nervous system misinterpreting the input that it receives. What would normally be felt by a person would be intensified by someone with fibromyalgia, which is known as hyperalgesia, and things that wouldn't normally be painful for a person would certainly be painful to a person with fibromyalgia, which is known as allodynia. It has been determined that if someone has it, others in their family are likely to have it too. Most suffer many years before they get diagnosed. Fibromyalgia has many of the symptoms common with MS, lupus, and arthritis, and other kinds of diseases of the body tissues and nerves and muscles. It still can't be diagnosed by blood tests, labs, or x-rays. It used to be diagnosed by excluding other diseases, but now they know that it could be in addition to other diseases. The treatment varies by patient. Some things that should be worked on is improving sleep, losing weight, stopping smoking, exercising regularly, but pacing it so as not to overdo it, calming the mind, and possibly some medications. They have found some positive effects from Lyrica, Cymbalta, and omeprazole. Because fibromyalgia is chronic pain, but not inflammation, anti-inflammatories don't really help. Sleeping pills don't really help, and there is no evidence that opiates or narcotics would help and could actually over time make the pain worse. Fibromyalgia affects about 5 million people in the U.S. alone and is predominantly found in women, although there are many men who have it. I have had fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue since I was in my 20s. I was diagnosed in my early 30s. 2 of my sisters have it for sure, and possibly the other one too. I am convinced that my mother had it and was never diagnosed. I feel chronic widespread pain all over my body at times. It can be severe and last days and weeks. I have had to use multiple pills for years in order to sleep. I am like the princess and the pea. I hurt a great deal. If there are wrinkles in my pillow, especially in my face even, in my bedding, or I also feel a great deal of pain if I scrunch my chest at all, if my ankles touch, or my knees or body parts touch each other. My feet can't touch each other when I sleep, so I have to have the legs separated, but one leg on a pillow a little bit to cushion it. My neck and my lower back are the worst. Because of weakness and fatigue, my legs want to go out from under me. The restless legs cause cramps, and my legs and my toes curl up and cramp so bad I can't move sometimes. So I tend to do way too much on good days when I can, and usually suffer the next day because of it. I have brain fog and memory problems and lose mental focus often. I rarely sleep more than 3 to 4 hours a day, so I'm extremely fatigued because of this. The only medication I use, and I used to take a lot of medications, but I never found it helped, is I take over-the-counter turmeric, ginger, magnesium and potassium, a multivitamin with minerals, and sometimes when I have them, I use essential oils and rubs. I don't take any narcotics or prescription drugs anymore. I try to get healthy exercise and plenty of sunshine. I am very sensitive to high heat and extreme cold, so I dress appropriately to adjust. I just make up my mind to cope with it and try not to let it show too much. Positive attitude and all the moral support I receive from this community helped me a great deal. Sunday's live stream was difficult for me, and I know it was hard for you too. It was hard to watch me. I struggled to say what I wanted to say. I had a lot of problems staying focused on whatever subject I was talking about, and I was kind of all over the place. It's hard for me to sit in one position for very long, and when I'm nervous, I tend to have more difficulty talking or pulling my thoughts together. I need to move around, so the next live stream I do will probably be limited to about 30 minutes. I appreciate all the people that came, stayed, and struggled through it with me. Thank you all. Thank you, Bob from Blue Wave Odyssey. Thank you, Roy from Roy and Becky's Travels, and Camper Life William from Camper Life for moderating for me. I really appreciate your help. Bob spent hours with me, working with me to teach and help me do this. I hope this information I shared today about chronic pain, fibromyalgia, and chronic fatigue syndrome was helpful to others. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the likes and thumbs up and for hitting the notifications bell. I'm looking forward to some great comments. I'm sure I will get some. Keep smiling, be positive, and enjoy your lives while we still can. Bye-bye.